Alrighty, welcome back, 8th graders. We are moving into part 2 of this lesson, so we are continuing on with example 3 here, which I believe is the last example. We may have it on your own, and then we'll discuss your homework. Keep watching out for your code word, because I can say it at any point. So example 3 here says that clicking the zoom out button on a mapping website describes the side links of the square map. So this is something that you can see even on if you're pulling up the GPS on your phone or pulling up maps and you want to zoom in or you're zooming out. What they usually do is they double the side links or they zoom out double times or zoom in twice as much. So the first thing they want us to do is write an equation for the nth term of the geometric sequence. So that's where we're going to go back and look at those slides. So the beginning ones where we were talking about your equation here, okay? So we are going to write an equation. And the problem they said is just write it to the a to the nth. So we're just going to write it a to the nth because I don't have a specific one I want to find yet. Okay, so we're just going to leave it a to the n equals. And then we are taking that first, the first term here in the sequence. So my first term is this one, okay, is 5. So I'm going to put in 5. Then we are going to take your ratio. So that's your common difference. Sorry, I keep calling it ratio because it's labeled as R. But whatever is our common difference. So from 5 to 10, again, remember when we're talking about geometric sequences, we're talking about multiplication or either division. So from 5 to 10, 5 times 2 gives me 10. And let's just make sure that works for the next part. And 10 times 2, yep, that does give me 20. Because remember, that pattern has to continue. I can't change that pattern as I go through. So then my R value is going to be 2, so I'm multiplying this by 2. And then I do have an exponent that's going to be attached to my common difference. So I take n minus 1. And we don't know what power it is to, so it's just n minus 1. And here's our basic formula for this equation, okay? So I could use this equation to find any term in that I want, okay? So basically, in this case, they're talking about their terms as the zoom out clicks. So what if you just like hit it 100 times, okay? How far out, how many miles is that going to show you? Or maybe you only click it like 5 times, okay? How much is that? And you don't want to sit there and continue to multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. I'm going to extend this page here. Just give me a second. We'll add a little smiley face at the bottom. I think I'm covering it, but there's our little smiley face. So the second part then is find and interpret the a to the 8th. So basically I'm asking what is going to be that 8th term in the sequence. So we want to find and interpret. So we're going to figure it out first, and then we're going to identify what does that really mean. So I'm going to use the formula we just created. So I'm going to have a to the 8th instead of a to the n equals then 5 times 2. And then instead of putting my n here, I'm taking the n that would be here. So this is a to the n, so that 8 is going to be my n value. So I'm going to have 8 minus 1. So really, ultimately, when I'm finding this, if I wanted to take 8 minus 1 already, I could, because 8 minus 1 is 7, so I'm going to have 5 times 2 to the 7th. So to solve this out, I would first figure out what is 2 to the 7th. I don't really want to sit there and calculate it all, so I'm grabbing my calculator. 2 to the 7th. That gives me 128, so I'm taking 5 now times 128. Okay. And that's my a to the 8th. So my answer then, I'm going to just take my calculator, take this number, multiply it by 5, so that's 128 times 5. And it looks to be that I get 640, sorry. Okay. And if I want to add my units, we're talking about miles. So if I was to click the zoom out button 8 times, I'm just going to set click, 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 click. What it's going to do is it's going to show me within that square range, it's going to show me a distance of 640 miles. So that's basically, I found it. And then I just interpreted by explaining that. So basically what it says is that 8 clicks will bring me out to 640 miles. Okay, I'm not going to actually write it out in English here, but you can write it out for yourself. Okay. Okay. Let's do this one. So this is a what if question. I think this one's a good one because it says, after how many clicks on the zoom out button is the side length of the map going to be 2,560 miles? So I'm going to help you set it up here. We're going to use that same formula you had, which is a to the n equals a1, which we decided, ooh, I'm going to get rid of this, sorry. We decided we already know what A1 is, so I'm gonna erase that. Oops, I thought I picked my eraser. Which we decided A1 is 5, so we're just gonna plug that in now. Pen, grab this one here. 5, and then my ratio was 2, and we don't know what n is. Okay, n minus 1. So in this case, we are going to plug this 2,560 into the a to the n, and then you're going to have to figure out what n term this is. Okay, so take a minute, think about it. I know it's going to be a little challenging seeing that it is a exponent, but I want to see and challenge you and see if you can figure this out. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. All right, so take a minute, see if you can figure it out. I would love to hear what kind of method you use to solve this, to figure it out yourself. When you come back here in just a minute, I will have the solution. We will talk through it. So again, if you want to let me know how you solve this, you can leave a comment below, or you can email me too with how you decided to solve this problem. All right, welcome all back. So my first thing that I did in this problem is I got rid of this 5 by using your inverse operation and dividing each side by 5. So from there I get, when I take 2,560, I get 512. And that leaves me just with this 2 to the n minus 1. There's no good way to figure out this exponent exactly, and so I just started kind of guessing, throwing things in my calculator to figure out 2 to the what would give you 512. Well, I realized that 2 to the 9th gives me 512, okay? So if I need to figure out what is this n value, remember it's going to be n minus 1. So what number minus 1, so n minus 1, is going to equal 9. So using your inverse operations, I can add this 1 over, and then I get n equals 10, okay? So this shows me that you did, oops, that kind of looks like a 16. Ooh, 10. That means that you did 10 clicks on your map to get it out that far, okay? So 10 clicks is your value for your n. Your code word for today is turtle, okay? Code word is turtle. All right. So your homework stuff here again, if you want to do your workbook, you are more than welcome to. I'm just not going to be grading it. You can use it as extra practice. So your homework assignment here is going to be 6.7 on Big Ideas. It will be uploaded here on the 20th. So if you're watching this video ahead of time, remember that your homework is not going to be uploaded till the 20th. So I'm expecting though that that homework gets done within the week it is assigned. So I should see that you get this done no later than the 26th. Okay, that's going to be that Sunday evening. So the Sunday evening on the 26th. So make sure, even if you want to go ahead, you can, or I know sometimes things happen and you aren't able to get your assignment done the day that I do tell you to get it done. So that's why I give you the flexibility of a few days over the weekend, but make sure that you're staying on top of your stuff and whatever is assigned that week that you get it done. Otherwise, it will be reflected that you are missing it, okay? Otherwise, that's the last lesson for this week. Make sure that you are keeping up with all the other things that you need to be doing this week. So just as a reminder here, let me look. So you had 10.4, you're supposed to watch lesson 10.4, you're taking a quiz, and then you are doing this lesson. So hopefully you are watching this here on the Thursday of this week, the week of April 20th. Otherwise, have a really good day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.